2 shots of vodka.
Road beers.
I am the liquor.
Rotbeers.
Hey, careful, man. There's a beverage here.
Road beers.
I drink and I know things.
Roadbeers.
How many drinks of alcohol do you consume a week?
One shelf.
Roadbeers.
What's that? What's
We should get some road beers, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, we should get some road beers.
Oh, I actually, you know what? You should try some of the shit my Chinese friend gave me.
What is it?
I translated it with the app, and it
Okay.
just says sauce flavored liquor.
So is it soy sauce?
No, it's like I think it's like a rice whiskey of some sort. You can't, because there's no English on it.
Right.
It's not legal. Like
Oh, sick.
this wouldn't even be legally imported.
Fuck yeah.
Just
Well,
try
yeah,
it
otherwise
out.
it would have like the
And
seal
like
on
the
it,
cap's
wouldn't
weird, because like, look. Oh, it actually is
Oh.
working now. Like sometimes I won't pour. Just a little bit, man. This shit is like, ugh. Like don't shoot it. Just like sip it.
it? Don't shoot it?
Just try a sip.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's like poison, man.
What the fuck is
I
that?
know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you can toss that if you want.
No, I'll finish it.
It's interesting.
It tastes like a snake, like leaked out of my mouth when I breathed out. Jesus fucking Christ.
It's sauce flavored liquor. I think it's made with rice.
Oh, yeah, kind of, interesting.
I think it's like Chinese like shine, you know? Of the cellar.
Sauce flavored liquor.
And that's just called Den.
Then, huh.
So, don't know how that works. The QR code on top didn't work. It takes you to like a weird Chinese website and then it won't even load.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I told you that I got hacked on my credit card, right?
Yeah.
By like a Chinese women's clothing website. They already refunded it like the next day. So that was nice.
Credit
Yeah.
cards are actually pretty good at that.
Mm-hmm. Very nice, very nice.
Oh. Okay, after that I need to smoke first.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's
What?
just...
I try to smell it.
Surprisingly, me and him drank a lot of it.
I'm gonna chug the rest of this.
Cool, good
No
luck.
balls. Call me no balls.
No, good luck. Maybe we speak to the fucking manager when you're done that. I shook right there.
Ni hao!
Yeah, we should get some road beers.
So, you know the theory that we've already had civilizations like we have today, thousands of years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, none of this stuff I actually believe in, but none of it I don't believe in.
It's intriguing to think about.
I'm agnostic towards pretty much everything I'm about to say.
Yeah.
But
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
yeah,
speak on
just say
it
it.
as if I believe in it.
Let's go,
So-
Joe Rogan.
Thousands of years ago, like 10 or 20,000 years ago, we had a civilization like we would have right now. And there was the gray people and the people like us right now, like the Homo sapiens. The gray people and the Homo sapiens got in a war. And it had been going on for like hundreds of years. And eventually the Homo sapiens, because we would just went more into technology and shit. We started strong arming them on the war, and we were like, okay, we don't want to kill all you guys. You got to give up, and they never did. So then, as an act of showing our strength, we blew up the moon.
Oh.
So then the gray people were like, oh fuck, they blew up the moon, and then they finally surrendered. It was like the Hiroshima of 20,000 years ago.
I mean, we blew up the moon though, like, the fucking world would end.
No, we blew up the moon, and then we made a metal one.
Oh, like a
So
Death
now the
Star?
moon today is made of metal. Like it's a artificial moon, and then we banished all the gray people to the moon.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And I think honestly,
I thought they lived in the
honestly,
oceans
man,
or
I
in
think this
Antarctica.
is where what?
I thought they were in Antarctica on the oceans.
The gray people?
The Greys, yeah.
No, I think that they might be like Agartha and shit, like the middle of the earth.
Well, not in the Earth, but like, you seen watching the UFO shit going on?
No. Okay, let me finish
Okay,
this
yeah, we'll
gray
get
people
there.
thing. I'm almost done. So this is why I think the aliens had visited Earth like 10 or 10,000, 20,000 years ago. It was these past civilizations that were fighting the gray people, and then the aliens were like, okay, we like these guys better because they have more advanced technology. So then they gave us some of their technology, and we blew up the moon. And then we made the fake moon, banished the gray people there, and now it's just us. So that's why now, so this is to finish off my little theory here. Do you ever do mushies and think and have you ever gone in public while you're on mushies?
No, not in public. No.
Okay, I did in Vegas, and some people just look like lizard people.
Like NPCs, yeah. You're like, huh?
Not NPCs, lizard people. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
NPCs. They just don't seem
Yeah.
human. And so
Yeah.
that's where my theory is that some people are still gray people.
That's
Because you couldn't banish them all to the moon.
It's true. It's
So
true.
the theory that, the lizard people theory,
Yeah.
I think the lizard people are just the gray people. And they might actually, the lizard people and the gray people are the same people.
Yeah.
So we gotta drill into that moon and find out if there's gray people in there. Or / lizard people.
Well, there's a whole side of the moon that we can't see, right? Because we only ever
Yeah.
have the one side facing Earth.
Exactly. They could just be thriving on that other
But
side.
if you blew up the moon in the first place without the other one there, it would really fuck things up.
Yeah, that's why they built another one.
But like, was there?
They probably had it ready to go.
You'd have to
Yeah.
and bring it in.
The aliens probably said, hey aliens,
Yeah.
do we have the go ahead to blow up the moon to freak out these lizard people / gray people? And the aliens were like, yes, we will get a new moon ready for you immediately.
You know, the other things is like we put a lot of resources to build a giant moon, and like the best thing that they built was the pyramids that stick around.
Well, that's the thing. If they were built way longer ago than we
Yeah.
actually think, they could have deteriorated quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
Same with like Machu Picchu and fucking everything.
Well, you know, I think when people
There's
talk about
Chinese stuff.
all that crap, I think people forget that the humans like 20,000 years ago were just as smart as the humans now. So that if we could pull off building something, they could too.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have the technology, but I mean, it's a pile of rocks.
Yeah.
They can move rocks.
Yeah.
It took a lot of people. Like the social organization needed to actually pull off that is impressive.
I think there's just been repeated
Yeah.
societies that get to a certain spot and then just crumble,
Yeah.
like fail horribly, and then they start restarting.
It's probably true. Like if you look at like the Amazon,
Because who's to say that the hieroglyphs didn't have people on the hoverboards and some of them
well, I think it's the UFOs, man.
UFOs? Yeah.
I think they've been here for a while.
Okay, so you're saying UFOs in the Antarctica?
Well, I don't know who they are. They're here. I don't know if they're aliens or whatever. They don't really
Well, that's
know.
the thing. That's what they
No, they're here though.
didn't. They just do a news thing where they were like, "Was the pilot of these crafts human?" And they were like, "No."
It wasn't just a news
or
thing.
no.
It was a full whistleblower. So like go back about a few years ago.
I think it's bullshit.
I don't know because so they put in there's been some U.S. important people who have been a little suspicious about all this stuff.
Yeah.
So they put in after like some work and they can't get answers because there is a deep state in the military industrial complex that is outside congressional oversight. I mean, you look at like they're auditing at the Pentagon and stuff. Pentagon can't even produce Congress 30% of their assets, and Congress goes, "Where's all this money going?" Yeah. So a little bit there's kind of two, but then
Dude, it's the CIA killing people, killing world leaders all over the world.
well, yeah, but it's like
They gotta pay off everybody.
there is and then there's shit like they won't show Congress. Like recently they've been like denying people who should be allowed to see it not because they don't want congressional oversight. Like, there's a big deep state, and then all these these private contractors like Lockheed and them, which take a massive amount of like they're only paid from the U.S. government.
Yeah.
And
Lockheed Martin. Yeah.
yeah, Boeing.
Yeah.
But going on it, so they put these whistleblowers laws in, and it kind of allowed people to come forward. And the first three they had on the show, but there was this Grushka and then these two pilots. So this Grushka was actually apparently in charge of this craft retrieval program, and he's going to think he did like 11 hours with both the Senate and the Congress intelligence community enclosed before each 11 hours hearings with each. All his credentials have been back checked. Like he went up through like the proper channels. Well, potentially, but they've already written laws based off his testimony, hoping to crack open what's going on. He says that these UFOs have been here for a long time, and that we've just been hiding it.
And if they are, honestly, that would be a good thing because that means we aren't going to have a District 9 type thing where the aliens just want to kill us, you know?
Well, who knows? I think it might be like a zoo or something. People think it could be a little bit more esoteric too. Like,
Define esoteric.
it kind of ties into like, if you read like a guy named like Jacques Vallée, he kind of talks about like
No.
the spirit world and the paranormal intersecting with the UFO phenomenon and interdimensional shit.
Okay.
It's a little out there, but I mean, some people think because he's been a professor, like he's quite
Wait, so are all these people smoking DMT? Is that what's happening?
yeah, probably. But this Grush guy's interesting, and then also the pilots are interesting because they witnessed them.
Okay.
And these are pilots that were like Air Force pilots, high ranking, who like saw this,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, like, and we like fired at them sometimes, and like sometimes we just ignore them because we didn't even know what to
Okay.
do anymore. And these things would go into the ocean, and then they would shoot back up to the sky and all this fucking shit.
Yeah, didn't Bob Lazar say shit like that?
Yeah. The thing is, it's tough to know really what's going on because, like, Bob Lazar could be full of shit, and I don't know. But
He's one that I'm a little more skeptical of.
Yeah, because I think he might. There's been a lot of things that are been said for years, and I think he might just been picking up on what's been said and then being a grifting on it. The disinformation on it's really big. You look at I follow the subreddit UFOs a lot, and like it's funny that people said that like this big spike of activity has been coming out of like Fort Lauderdale or something. Like I don't know which fort. One of these American U.S. bases is now
Fort
like
Lauderdale.
the most active city for the use of UFOs is like an Air Force intelligence site because they're putting friggin' bot accounts because they trying to disinformation. And what the guy said, what Grush really did say, and I think the crux of this was that the reason they've been able to hide it for all these years was because it got moved into private defense contractors. And
why?
Because there's no oversight.
But why would it get? Why are private defense contractors interested in aliens?
Because because we don't have aliens with crafts, and we're trying, and we're
they want to try and patent these crafts, like reverse engineer and patent.
There actually is
technology.
You can look at some patents they have, and it's very interesting. Anti-gravitational type of hulls and stuff. And apparently we were in a Cold War, and this was again we were in the Cold War
with who? North Korea?
Well, the Russians, the Chinese have it too. Because they crashed there too, and. And
if everybody just took a 2 or 3 gram dose of mushrooms, we wouldn't have all these fucking issues. Fucking Zing, or what's his name?
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping Chicken Kung Pao would fucking calm down if he just mushed out for a couple hours. He'd be like, oh, we're not supposed to kill everybody.
Pretty sure
Never mind, there's a lot of communists on the U of S campus that take mushrooms and stay communists.
Yeah, true. Very true. And what I don't know is that they are apparently the gray aliens. The gray aliens. So it could be the same grays. Some people say that because we don't. You know what? Wait.
Wait. Are you saying the gray people / lizard people are the aliens coming here?
Yeah, because like the rumor is that they're gray aliens. Yeah.
That's no, they're just gray people.
Oh, well, these are like, like the stereotypical, like, gray with the big head. These are actually supposedly what these guys are.
See, but these gray people / lizard people, I think these are so you know how everybody comes from a common evolution ancestor?
Yeah.
I think we would have come from monkeys, and they would have come from, like, lizards.
So how did they, do they have fingers?
I don't know. They're just called the gray people or the lizard people. So, like, we all ended up being very close.
Yeah.
And then even maybe close enough that some of the Homo sapiens and gray people mated. Who knows?
Wow.
So now that's why we have lizard people now. Like Miley Cyrus.
Avril Lavigne.
Well, Avril Lavigne got killed and replaced with a lizard person.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That's the problem there. Kanye got replaced with a clone. I don't think his clone's a lizard person.
No.
Or there'll be more people onto it.
It's probably just his record producers.
Yeah. Actually, I just listened to a podcast with, have you heard of Sneeko?
No.
I don't really know who he is, but I think he's like a producer or something, and he was talking about how recording with Kanye, that's about where that stops in my memory. But he was.
So he's alive?
Oh no, he says he was like yeah, Kanye's got some big things coming soon, and I was like, okay, good. Hopefully, it's the real Kanye.
I think he just went on a mental break, man.
I'm 100% convinced that the government killed Kanye.
Why the fuck would they give a fuck? Actually, Kanye was probably great for them. He's the biggest distraction ever. You know, like everyone was talking about Kanye this, Kanye that, culture war. They love that stuff, you know. Government wants us to be doing that.
But Kanye was starting to build like his own civilization in like school to get children to start learning simple engineering and like going back to a way of life where we don't need big energy and stuff like that. And they were starting to get some traction, especially with his Sunday gospel.
He was just like he just kind of becoming one of those like Christian what you know, kind of like a little cult. He's like a little Waco moment, you know.
No. Oh yeah, Waco, because weren't the people who caused the issues in Waco government plants, like CIA plants? I've never gone on a deep dive on Waco, but so the government went in and killed all these people in Waco in this cult.
Well,
but the people who like were causing domestic terrorism, quote unquote, were from the CIA.
They were kind of like these like
it was like a Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man being like, it's you.
They were like a cult though. Like it was like it was like a Christian cult with this guy and he had like, these giant compound. Well, and he had like all these wives and kids there.
Okay, never mind.
And like I mean, they can be where they want to be. Like they're a commune, like almost like, you know, a big amount of people, and they're very Christian. Like they're like Christian based. I wouldn't call them actual Christians, but you know, like they base their ideas and.
Oh, we didn't put a timer on for the chicken fingers.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna go look. Sorry,
that's
continue. Christian based.
Well, apparently, and you know what? But like then I don't know. Yeah, they had a standoff with the government. It was a very long standoff.
They're sizzling. Should I have flipped them?
Oh, I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Can't really fuck them up. You just can't.
Oh, it says turning once. Should I turn them?
Yeah.
Okay. Intermission. Chicken finger intermission.
Chicken fingy time.
Chicken fingers.
We'll be right
got
back.
It going on.
Yeah,
they're all I want.
Hell yeah, we should get some road beers.
Can I tell you, I don't think I've actually listened to one of your episodes.
That's okay. If you're gonna listen to one,
I'll listen to this one.
Yeah.
I'll listen to this one. Because I think I like the guest you brought on.
Yeah.
He's alright.
Some would say the Jason Momoa of Saskatoon.
Yeah, it has. Fuck, I was walking through, like, Canadian Brew House the other day. Like, just having, like, a quick dinner with one of my coworkers. And there's this chick at the bar. And I just walk by, she goes, "Hey, wait!" Look at her, and she's looking at me, and I'm like, and then she's squinting, and she's like, "Were you an Aquaman?" I was just, fuck off.
Just because of the hair?
Yeah, and I was like, screw you.
But did she work there?
No, it was some drunk girl at a bar.
Chick, yeah.
But I think like she must have thought I was someone, and then like she had a pivot.
Jason Momoa.
Oh yeah, Jason Momoa. I just know him from Game of Thrones. It's a great show. Have you watched it?
I haven't rewatched it in a while. I probably won't. I enjoyed it, but it's not something that I'd be like.
Oh, I'm a big fan.
You are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the prequel is interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the prequel?
They did another show.
Oh, is that the one?
Dance of Dragon.
Dance of Dragon?
Or something.
There's something about the dragon. Yeah.
It's like set like
Game of Dragons Dance.
400 years before, and like the Targaryen. So it's cool. There's all fucking dragons and shit. But you know, there's only like 2 characters in it, so it's like you don't have like you know in Game of Thrones like jump through like a ton of them, but it was more like kind of focused. So it was a different style, that's for sure. But it was really good. It was well done.
So Game of Thrones, I think the thing that really got me into it was the fact that they kept talking about like winter is coming and like the enemy across the walls, right? Yeah. And you're like, what's this enemy? Like, what are they capable of? What's going to happen with this enemy? This is intense.
And they fucking
creates a lot of suspense. Yeah, and then that's the thing. Like once you find out who the enemy is, like the ice zombies or whatever the fuck, it kind of loses luster.
Yeah.
Like they could have done a lot better with introducing the enemy and like maybe giving the enemy a better backstory and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing with like, have you watched any anime?
No, I never really got into it.
So this one Attack on Titan.
Oh, I've heard of that. I think
Yeah.
I watched like an episode to that.
So my girlfriend forced me to watch it.
Yeah.
Thank God, because it's
I
a
hear
really
it's
good
really
show.
good.
It's really good. New
Yeah.
episodes, I guess, are next month. So they start out with this like elusive enemy.
Isn't
That's
there
like
these giant
it's
naked-
giants that will eat
naked
people,
giants,
right?
yeah.
Naked giants. And you're like, well, where did they come from? Like, there's so much mystery around
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
it, right? And then when they finally reveal where it came from, they like fuck your mind about how there's a whole other, like, spoilers. There's a
Yeah.
whole other world out there where like the main character's dad was part of the people who made the giants happen and stuff like that. Like, it gets
Interesting.
very complex, and like
Yeah.
they really follow through on the fact that there's mystery behind this enemy, and then there's so much more than you could even imagine.
Yeah.
Whereas Game of Thrones, the ice wall thing, I was
I
just
think it had that. It had the mystery for the longest time.
yeah.
But the last 2 seasons or whatever deviated from the books, okay?
Oh,
Because the books aren't done.
Really?
Yeah, so, like, because the guy, George R. R. Martin, who wrote the books,
Yeah.
I mean, the first ones came out, like, the 80s and the 90s. And, like,
No shit.
and then he's been putting these out, but, like, he's been working on this, like, the next book. And it's not even the last book, it's, like, a book after that, supposedly. But this next book is, like, he's been working on it for, like, even, like, when the show started, and he's always like, oh, it's gonna come out now, and then it never fucking comes out. And this guy's kind of, like, old and
Yeah.
a little overweight. Like, he's gonna fucking drop dead. So I don't know what they're gonna do. But, like, I feel like he also wrote himself in a corner a little bit. Like,
right.
you know, there's so many. But in the books, now I didn't read the books. I've read about the books. Instead of reading a drug, I've just read about the books. But, like, it is more like that unknown, like, that Lovecraftian horror type of shit.
Yeah. That was one of the appeals too to the show, was that it was one of the first shows on like cable TV that had tits flopping all over the place.
Well, it's HBO.
And like
did
sex
that,
and everything.
Yeah.
But they didn't really start that until late 2000s, right? Like late
That's
2000,
true,
like
yeah.
2007, 2008,
We were watching, like, Rome, which came out before. There's some titties in that.
I guess.
But, you know, I think, like, they really had a lot more sex in the first few episodes. I think that was to try to entice people to get into it.
Yeah.
And some people, like, I try to get into the show, like, they were more, like, not about watching nudity and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, turn it off. I was like, no,
Yeah.
just push through it. I know there's, like, a few gay sex scenes. And I'm like, just push through it.
Back when SNL was actually funny.
Once upon a time.
And Game of Thrones had just came out. They did a skit where it was like, we are now going to meet the directors of Game of Thrones, and it's a 15-year-old boy. We need to get them having more sex.
More sex. Nope, but what I think Game of Thrones did right compared to, like, other fantasies, because I find other fantasies can just be, like, even, and I actually kind of like fantasy, but I find them can be a little over the top, and, like, the
Right.
magic and the fantasies, like, right there, where,
Yeah.
like, in Game of Thrones, like, it, like, goes through, like, life, and people are, like, it's, like, pretty, like, normal, but then, like, all this magic and stuff is, like, mysterious. Like, there's magic in the world, but it's not, like, it's kind of like an unknown thing. You know,
Yeah.
nobody really knows, and it's always tied to, like, kind of religion, like a very mystical,
Yeah.
like, it's there, but it's not, like, there's some
Kind of
wizards.
like Star Wars.
Well, Star Wars, but there's, like, straight up people who master these powers, you know? Like,
Right.
there's not really a
Good,
Game
yeah.
of Thrones. There's just kind of like a latent, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's a latent, like, mysterious rituals and stuff, you know? And, you know, some people don't even believe dragons ever existed, you know? These were just fairy tales, you know? Until the end, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's a horde of zombies and a fucking ice dragon. And you're like, what the fuck happened here?
Yeah.
What happened here?
Okay,
The
chicken
difficulty-
fingies are in. How long do they go on for?
I don't know. It's your chicken.
15 minutes.
I think people have been brainwashed, though. You know, I think that's a big part of the problem here. Is like when it comes to the pharmaceutical industry, and I'm not saying like they brainwash people with vaccines. I think they pop a vaccine. I think people could get vaccine or not get vaccine. I don't really give a shit. But I think what they did do is that they did brainwash into the idea that you're either with the pharmaceutical industry or you're against it.
Yeah.
Like if you start saying Pfizer did all this really bad stuff or any of these big companies, you know, like, you know, everyone comes because they call you anti-vax, right? And it's like like people forget that Pfizer like started the fucking opioid epidemic.
Yeah.
I mean, they also created OxyContin, and they lost the biggest class action, billions of dollars,
Right. Yeah.
purposely getting people hooked. They spent something like billions.
But then they made more creating the actual drug. Which is why it's funny having someone, or fun, not even fun, just actually kind of nice having someone like RFK Jr. trying to shake things up in politics because he started out as doing litigations against companies like that, and mostly for environmental stuff, but like respect.
Like I think he would lose actually a lot of Republican supporters, and like he's not very friendly to industry.
Which we might need a little bit of a shake up in that too.
I agree. But, you know.
Like there's a lot of things that have gone on for a little too long.
No, it's true.
And it's not because...
It's because we let corporations rewrite the rules.
Yeah.
And they got so much, their armies of lobbyists and lawyers can do whatever the fuck they want.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in Alberta, just recently, like, I think Danielle Smith was like she kind of left the legislature for a bit, went and worked for an oil company.
Yeah.
Came back to become premier and all that. And one of the first things she does is she lets so now the Alberta taxpayers cleaning up the orphan wells.
Yeah.
That's not that was the responsibility of the companies who left those orphan wells,
Yeah.
you know?
Which I'm fine. Like I'm fine with those companies getting sued and having to pay for that.
But isn't it a little fishy that all of a sudden she gets her
The
former
company
employer?
that she worked for?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's sketchy shit going on all over the place.
We don't even see it. And that's nothing to compare what happens in the, I think in the US of A.
2 shots of vodka.
All right, test. Take two.
Take two. Okay, why aren't they telling us about aliens?
Yeah, no, because let's say they had this whole time. Why do you think they would tell? Well, obviously there's the technology, and also like it'd freak people out probably. But I think, like, they're really worried. Like, let's say we're talking with them, right? We have to like make friends with them, and they're gonna kind of judge us because we're inferior to them, definitely, And
what if we're already colonizing their planets?
Wow.
Like an Avatar situation.
What if it's like an interdimensional situation? We're on the same planet.
Oh yeah, you gotta smoke DMT to meet them.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The
the elves.
They live in the 4D.
Oh man. See, that's why I will probably never smoke DMT. You know what? If there's interdimensional elves working on my body, I think I'll just let it happen. I really don't need to know about it.
Yeah, let them do their thing. I can live my whole life.
I went and did a chest workout yesterday, and I felt great.
Yeah.
So if there's elves fucking with that, you know what? That's fine. I'm gonna be dead in 40 years.
Yeah. You can go your whole life without knowing about the elves.
Yeah.
I mean,
a little bit of mind openness is good, but
I think, like, if you start believing that there's actually elves work on you, that drug must really be traumatizing, because, like...
Yeah, have you seen, like, the salvia?
It's definitely a hallucination.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Salvia is fucking... I hear it's the worst thing ever, like,
And isn't it, like, still technically legal or something?
No, not anymore.
Or, like, a gray area?
It was.
Yeah.
They got rid of it now.
That's fucked up.
Because, like, you could, like, if you take too much, like, you can, like... People, like, go off these trips, they think, like, 10 years has passed, and it's, like... They think they become a couch. And
see, that's why I don't understand with psychedelic use. Some people are just, like, super reckless with it, and they're like, oh yeah man, let's see something freaky. Why do you want to do that?
I think you can really hurt yourself that way.
Yeah.
Because, like,
you gotta be careful. Our brains are
Yeah.
intricate fucking things.
Well, and like, if you do it like, you know, kind of with some intention behind it, I think you're always going to be good. But it's like,
yeah,
a lot of, if you look where DMT kind of came from, same with mescaline, the way they do it in Peru, the way that the shamans do it, they're like, it's like a whole 2-day thing. Quechua is a language that
isn't that a culture too?
Ayahuasca, yeah. Quechua is like...
Quechua, I thought that was the ancient Incan.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But, like with the ayahuasca...
But yeah, they do, like, shamans for ayahuasca and shit.
They blow it up your nose.
Oh,
Or maybe that's mescaline.
Oh shit, chicken fingers!
Woo! Chicken time!
I am the liquor.
Man,
was the
talk
pudding.
about spice. Okay, that, I think you pronounce it Packy or Pocky chip,
Oh, yeah.
the one chip challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Fucking Samuel bought one for me because he knew that I like
He knows.
spicy challenges,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And he was like, we went and played tennis. I was a little hungover. We went and played tennis, and he's like, do you want to do the spicy chip challenge? I was like, sure. As long as you give me a couple shots beforehand.
Yeah, yeah.
Just, kind of numb the pain.
How was it?
I did it. Immediately started drinking milk. It was spicy. It was bad, but it was over in like 7 minutes. I was
That's pretty
drinking
good.
milk. I would say that the Hudson's Hot Wing Challenge this year was worse.
Yeah.
Because that was just nasty.
Well, they kind of commercialized that chip challenge. I think it can't actually be that spicy.
It was bad.
Because, like,
Don't get me wrong,
you
it
kill
was bad.
someone with it. I mean,
Well, the story's not over.
Oh.
I thought I was okay.
okay.
So then we were like, okay, and then we'll go to Keo's after. Keo's Kitchen,
Yeah, get some
Thai
Thai.
food, yeah. We went to Keo's. I was feeling fine, completely fine, right? Like my face was a little numb and stuff because I just ate a
Yeah.
spicy ass chip.
You're
But I was okay. And then we sat down. I got a beer and fresh rolls because I didn't really want anything spicy. You know?
I can't really live that.
Beer and a fresh roll. Started drinking the beer, and it must have spread the spice around my stomach because all of a
Yeah.
sudden I was like, oh, I started like sweating, and like my stomach just started burning. Like it felt like someone was stabbing me
Yeah.
in the stomach.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, "Ah, guys, I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta try and see if I can shit this out or puke it or something. I thought I was
Yeah.
gonna puke.
Just come on both ends.
No, I went into the bathroom, and thank God it's a single stall, like a single bathroom. You
Yeah.
close the door, I locked it, and I was like, oh god damn. And I like knelt I sat on the toilet. I was like, okay, it's not coming out this end.
Better do a good old turnaround, you know.
So I turned around, went on my knees, tried to finger my mouth, nothing's coming. And then I was like, geez, when I stood up and I looked at the mirror and I was white as a ghost, and then all of a sudden my vision started fading and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna pass out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and it was hurting so much in my stomach that I almost passed out. And I just knelt there for a bit, and you ever get that feeling where you almost pass out and everything starts to feel hollow and you're shaking and
Yeah.
and I was sweating and I was like, holy fuck.
So
My
you
face
were,
started to turn green.
You could have fucking died.
Slightly green.
Could have killed you.
Yeah.
Fucking chip.
And then I was like, okay, well nothing's coming out of my body, so I just have to I slowly hobbled over back to the table and I just stood there, and then girl Sam was like, you okay? And then everybody was like, haha, Josh.
Yeah.
And then she was like, wait a minute, he's not okay. And I was like, no, I'm not, shaking my head. And then I went and sat outside on the ground until Sam's little brother came to pick me up.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta
Yeah.
go to the car and nap.
That was
So,
not good.
Actually, you just napped it off then?
Yeah. I just lied on the couch
Oh.
and then I didn't make it to the work the next day either.
Oh, fuck.
Because it was,
That's weird. It just hit the
and
stomach.
water didn't taste right for 3 days after. It
What
had
the fuck they put in that chip, man? That's not.
yeah, I don't know, man. They should be able to do that. It's a ghost pepper. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I am anti ghost pepper because there's no flavor in that.
Yeah, it's just spice.
At least jalapeno has it has a
I like.
almost citrusy,
Yeah.
sharp flavor.
It's got a good taste. Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
you just gotta talk to people about bullshit.
And if you don't have two drinks in you, alcohol brings down the social barriers. You know?
Yeah.
And it is, especially I think if you're doing professional networking, it is difficult.
Oh, especially because half the time you don't even believe in what the other person's saying. They don't believe in what they're saying. You don't believe in what you're saying.
It's a little awkward, you know. It's
Yeah.
you're all kind of standing in a room. The purpose is there to be in this room is to talk, and then you're kind of
no, what do we talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like,
And then eventually you do talk,
people are-
especially if you get those 2 drinks in you, you do talk, and then you create relationships that end up benefiting both parties in the future.
it's definitely kind of an awkward situation because I find like sometimes it's like, that, you know, and you're very hyper aware of people, you know, so there's high levels of judgment, and
Yep.
especially you're talking about professional stuff. And it's
Yeah,
like,
especially when you mix
yeah.
industries, political ideologies, stuff like that.
Yeah, and then there, you know, and you always get people like who are big now. There's like these false senses of ego and bravado and social status. Like, oh, this guy is really important, and you know, it's like holy.
Okay, I'm gonna scratch this, but
Yeah.
sorry, just dropped a landmine on that. But enlightenment doesn't exist.
Not really, no.
It's not possible.
No.
If you're truly enlightened, you don't exist.
Yeah, and you also miss out a lot of good things in life. I think like you look like a Buddhist monk who seeks enlightenment, and I'm sure there's wisdom in there, but
I wonder what their brains feel like.
I
And
they're
do
calm.
you even think that they achieve true enlightenment?
I mean,
Is it possible on this plane of existence?
I'm sure. I mean, they say like meditation, the practice of it,
Yeah.
and they say it's really good for you in focusing.
I can see that.
But in long periods in which these types of folks are going on hours of meditation per day for long periods of time, it changes your brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does.
But like,
alter
will
your-
you ever achieve pure enlightenment? That's probably why they go up to the mountains so that there is less.
That's what they're.
Because let's be honest, like there's radio waves and everything just flying through the air.
Yeah.
Those go through our brains and through our bodies.
Definitely.
Don't act like that doesn't affect you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you can become purely like 100% enlightened. You can't achieve a pure enlightenment state if
Yeah.
you have all of these these waves flowing through your body and like other energies
Sure.
like affecting your equilibrium.
Wow. Yeah. You know, like I went to Lumbini. It's in Nepal, south Nepal, just on the
Okay.
Indian border. It's where the Buddha was born.
All right.
The first Buddha. I can't
Very
remember
first.
his name. It's a long name.
All right.
They were.
How do we know he wasn't a great person?
He could have been. No, he was. He was a prince, actually, of some sort of state.
Yeah.
In southern Nepal, like the Himalayas. There's a few states there, and he went out. And they're Hindu, and actually Nepal's still actually a predominant Hindu area. And he actually, funny enough, the Buddha's whole kind of life was in India and Nepal, but Buddhism kind of died out there after a time, but it grew in other parts of Asia. Tibetan Plateau is more interesting Buddhism. And so, anyways, going on to the like this guy literally like sat under a tree, and this is what everyone wants to achieve. There's actually several Buddhas after.
Yeah.
He found enlightenment. Like he went. He had all these expectations, you know, you're going to be a prince, you got to take over the state, you got your family, and he was kind of like screwed off and sat in the tree, and he apparently meditated for a stupid long period of time. He didn't eat, didn't drink. So why sometimes you see him like super skinny, like you can see his bones in some of the temples.
Yep.
And that's what people are seeking, like Buddhist
Not
monks.
existing.
Yeah, he transcended, like he
didn't exist.
Yeah, and he became one with all. Like, which I quite like the concepts of Eastern religions where there is like all is one, and he became that. Like, he merged his consciousness into that to become transcendent. But
yes,
it is a little like.
So there's got to be a balance.
I mean, monks. And
that's why I would prefer Taoism over a Buddhism.
Yeah.
For Eastern religions or even Hinduism.
Hindu monks are similar. But they have, I think, a more flourishing things. But you look at any monastery in the Western or Eastern culture, I mean, you also you actually have to take some privilege, to be there because you have to rely on others supporting you. Because actually Western monks formed, often communes. I think some Eastern ones did too, but, a lot of the times, people were traveling. You actually see this a lot in the Hindu monks, and they rely off the food or the offerings given at temples. That's why you see, like, in a lot of those
So I got a question.
offerings given at temples of food that will then feed the monks.
Yeah. So question.
Yeah.
This guy that you're talking about, very first Buddha.
Yeah.
Was he just sitting there and then he would have to rely on other people to feed him?
But there was a period in which he wasn't fed and he, like, starved.
Okay.
But all monks in the modern world do, yeah. Like, cause if you're like
so he had to become completely
like a
reliant
practicing
on
Buddhist,
like nature or
if you're practicing Buddhist, you have like a
outside
responsibility to like give. From my understanding, I don't know the details of it, but in a general understanding, in both in a Hinduism as well, like you give to the monks, like, and you provide them with the food. Like they were kind of like they relied on others to feed them. Yeah.
So then that I guess leads me back to my conclusion of to achieve pure enlightenment is to just not be human.
Yeah.
To not be sentient. Not exist.
In a sense.
Like a tree is enlightened.
Yes.
And it relies purely on the universe to because we are the universe.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of, actually in Buddhism and in Hinduism as well, and in the Eastern religions, you then get into the whole thing of the karmic cycle, too, right? Which is like a whole kind of...
I gave a guy $3.25 today while I was filling up my tires.
Wow.
At the co-op.
But he was probably a homeless guy, not a monk. Eh?
No, exactly. Okay, so a little story time, I guess. He walks out of the co-op, and he has a huge backpack and like I don't know what he had strapped on top of it, but it looked like a huge piece of plastic tarp.
Okay.
Like a poly tarp.
Yeah.
Clear. And he's like, "Hey buddy," and I'm like, "What's up, brother?" and I'm checking my tires, I'm squatted down, and he's like, "Would you be able to spare me any change for the bus?" And before I was like, "For the bus, sure. I have $3.25 in my car right now." Because there's a lot of people who will ask you for money, and you give them a toonie or a loonie or even a $5, and they'll ask for more.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I had a guy goes, "Can I have a 20?"
Yeah, fuck off.
You want a fucking $20?
I need to feed myself. I'm in credit card debt, cocksucker.
In this economy?
But no, so this guy, he was like, "Change for the bus," and I was like, "Oh, of course." But before I could say anything, he was like, "Cause like, man, I came here from Thunder Bay, and some guys robbed me and then burned me. Like, look," and his arms were scalded. Yeah. And he's like, and he had a hospital band on, and he was like, "I just got out of the hospital." And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. But I was like, "All right, bus is $3.25, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, I got that." Yeah, and I handed it to him. He's like, "Thanks, man. Like, I gotta go try and find my daughter and be fed." And I'm like, the more he talked, the more I was like, "You're just blowing smoke up my ass." And
well, sometimes not, man.
No, exactly. Know. But like, right off the bat, I was like, for the bus, yes, I'm gonna give you $3.25 because there's so many people that will be like, "I need food for my grandkids," or "I need food for my kids," and I will give them a granola bar or like an Ichiban or something. Like, especially coming out of the grocery store, I'll be like, "Here, would you like some food? You're asking for money for food," and they're like, "No, I don't want that." I'm like, yes, well, fuck off then.
I spend a lot. My office is like right now beside a liquor store and alone, so I spend a lot of time. Actually, I've seen good relationships with some folks who are definitely on the streets. And I've learned a lot. I also find because there's always people loitering around there, like those types of folks who loiter, and some of them like it is a little refreshing. The one kind of cultural thing I like on the west side, which you do not get on the east side of Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Or what you get on the inner city of the west side, I mean, is people actually talk to each other, like, in random. Like, people walk up and, sometimes they don't want anything off you. But they'll just start talking. Yeah. And they'll just start talking to you, and I'm like, wow. Because, if you're sitting, if you're, like, sitting in the university, I remember this, and you would be sitting in, like, waiting for the bus and fucking the Louis Riel Center.
No one talks to you.
Everyone's got their headphones on.
Yeah.
There are 100 people there. Nobody's talking.
Yeah.
And we're over there, like, you start talking to people. Yeah. And some people would tell me, I've heard some fucked up stories, and I'm like, I believe it because you didn't actually ask anything of me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've given, like, there's this one guy I know, and, like, I know he's genuine because I talk to him, like, every freaking day, and then he does know that I'll give him a smoke. He's the one guy.
Did he think you were Jason Momoa?
They might. They might.
Okay, sorry.
They always go, this white guy's pretty cool. And now people come up to me now. Sometimes he'll introduce me to these kids, just kind of they're like, oh yeah, I've heard of you.
Yeah.
And then he's white, because it's kind of like this is a very busy quarter. There's a lot of drug dealers and stuff, and so like
Yeah, a lot of people think like you gotta make sure you're not a narc.
But I'm always there and I'm always smoking, so it's kind of my corner because I have told people to like fuck off, and I've like if there's a fight, I get to get the fuck out. So like, but if like people are chill. Like, not saying, but
then
like,
they're friends. You become friends with them.
Like, it is like a corner, but like.
Have you ever met Freddie that makes the dream catchers?
No, I don't know. There's a lot of folks. I don't know.
Good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good guys out there, you know. I think, but there's a lot of.
Because I used to volunteer at that Switch clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to work at the soup kitchen too. I saw a lot of that shit. Yeah.
Man, no, the one at the bus terminal, man, I wish they would put the bus terminal back in the university. I don't do the bus anymore, so I guess it doesn't involve me.
Oh, is it not?
No, they moved fucking a bunch of routes outside of the university. So now the route that I take, that I used to take, stops in front of the Dairy Queen on College.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, when the buses were going through the university, I remember in my like first or second year, some guy set up a guitar and an amp and was like playing like really good music and just put a hat out, right? Like someone would,
He's
right?
busking, yeah.
And then the fucking peace officers come up and take him out.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame. It is illegal, and it's a shame.
Yeah, but it was awesome. Like, I think it makes I took my earbuds out and I was like, now we're all connected to this one guy playing music in the bus terminal. And I honestly think it was a little motivated because the guy wasn't wearing the nicest clothes and he was naked.
It's an anti-homeless, or like, because like, and I think that's the thing, like when it comes to these tapes, like, look, there should be discretion between, like, obviously, like, if there's a bunch of people causing a fucking commotion.
Yeah, if there's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I don't know. That is one thing that the pandemic, I think, helped.
Yeah.
Was now cops just can't go up to a situation and be like, fucking stop what you're doing or we're gonna beat the shit out of you. Now they kind of have to get good PR and like make friends with people. Like, I guarantee you, well, not guarantee.
The cops have done a lot of work.
I'm pretty confident that if the exact same thing that I witnessed with the guy with the guitar before the pandemic happened now, the cops would have went up and like, hey, like, could you go over there? Or like, how, like, well, it sounds like the music sounds good.
Yeah.
We can leave you alone. Or something like that.
Move a few feet.
Yeah, move over there or something like that.
I think,
I don't know.
How's the chicken? Is it done?
Oh yeah, it's out.
Okay, yeah. I think there is, like, sometimes the cops can't enforce shit. Like, right now there's a problem where cops can't enforce shit. Mm-hmm. But that's to do with...
See, yeah, it's all balanced, man.
Policy change. Yeah. I think we've swung a little too far. I think we need to come back
a
little. Like, I don't think
pendulum.
Cops shouldn't be beating people up, but there's a problem, though, where sometimes cops, you know, you see a video and it's a lot of context. Like, there was a cop on 22nd, I think last year. And this girl, because... Like I say, cops are a little bit, they're a little scared now.
Keep talking, I'm just gonna piss.
To do anything, right? And she got hit with a fucking machete.
Jesus Christ.
And it's like, I understand that you're like maybe, I don't know the details of it, but I think in any case, or a cop is being hit with a machete, like, they should have been able to defend themselves a little bit. Like, that ain't right. That ain't right. And,
yeah.
I don't know. So I think we need to find a balance. I think society's finding a balance.
Dude, remember going to the fucking George Floyd protest?
Oh yeah, we did.
Let's tell that story to the pod.
I don't remember it.
I remember it pretty, not vividly, but like, I have a good memory of it. Give me a second.
So we've been doing this for an hour and a half. Maybe we should wrap up soon, but then, my buddy might come over if that's cool.
Sure. Well, let's tell the George Floyd story and then talk about Little Sugar or Little Aspartame.
Little autism? What?
Big Sugar. The opposite of Big Sugar is Little Aspartame.
Oh yeah. Fair.
So I heard Big Sugar's playing. I think Little Sugar or Little Aspartame's on the main stage.
Well, so we're gonna go see Big Sugar and Burt Cummings and his band from the
Burt
Guys Who.
Cummings where?
But yeah, what a funny how I think Cummings.
Yeah. Well, Whitney Cummings, the comedian. But
Cummings is
okay,
a
so
lot
the George
of
Floyd thing.
I remember
I
going
do
to that.
remember it. So, okay, I went to your house. We were like, okay, it was a Saturday, I think.
Yeah, I think we got stoned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I came to your house. We went to the dollar store to get signs and permanent markers to make signs for this protest.
Yeah.
And then you found a cap gun
Oh yeah.
at the dollar store.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend fucking hated that thing.
She was like, "No, you can't buy this on this day, on this sacred day."
on the day of the Black Lives Matter protest, Saskatoon.
and then so yeah, then we went back to your place.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't far away. And then you and your girlfriend started smoking bowls. Sorry, I don't know the weed lingo.
We did smoke something, yeah.
So they started smoking the marijuanas. So John grabbed his cap gun and he points at me, gives me a bowl, a pretty decent sized bowl, gives me the bowl, points the cap gun at me and goes, "Smoke the bowl! Get on the ground, smoke the bowl!" So then I smoked
I put
it.
my knee on his
and
neck.
then your girlfriend and your girlfriend at the time goes, "He doesn't have to do it if he doesn't want to." And I was like, "I'm going along with the bit, of course."
Oh.
So and then you ended up like shooting a couple of the cap guns at me, and then I was like, "Oh no!" And then I smoked a little bit of it, and you're like, "More!" And I was like, "All right, a little bit more." And then I think I ended up smoking like 2 bowls, which is a lot for me.
I think at the time
Like,
you were
a
like
lot.
you were really stoned around. That was like a lot for you.
And I don't do well with weed.
No.
So I did it willingly, but it was just a funny bit. But then we went to the protests, and everybody was stoned, and we had our little signs, and then we went in this protest of what was it like? Wasn't it like 15,000 people, which was quite the turnout for Saskatoon?
Yes.
How many people was it? Like
There was
7,000 to 15,000?
It was a lot.
10,000, something like that.
But I can't tell if people cared that much or it was like
Had nothing else to do.
it was the middle of COVID, and it's some reason COVID rules didn't count when there was a protest.
Yeah. So
Unless it was a trucker protest.
yeah, then the COVID rules.
Then you
count.
gotta start fucking you gotta start busting skulls.
But anyway, so we went to this protest and we all had masks.
Yeah.
Everyone had masks.
Yes. Of course.
And well, most people had masks. And then I had the mask on for a bit, and I was like so stoned. I was like, I can't breathe.
Wait, wasn't your sign? Your sign said like,
"Don't tread on BLM."
Yeah, it with the little like the libertarian snake, the Tea Party fucking.
I was
thing.
like, "Fuck that!" If I'm gonna be a communist for this gay ass protest.
Yeah, for sassy.
But I was like, literally, all I wanted to do was go show that I don't like racism. I was like, you know what? Yeah, fuck racism.
Yeah.
But then they made it all political.
Well, no fucking shit. What did you think it was gonna?
I know, but then we were all stoned, and they were like, "Put your hands up and say their names." I was like, I don't want to put my hand up, and I don't know their names.